What's up, guys? Different setup here. This is how I'm gonna get comfortable. We're just gonna roll with it into it. We have a new producer here. We've kicked our old
new producer. Got my good friend Joe. Known him at least 10
great
years.
guy.
Great guy.
nice guy.
You guys are doing Trump neck. I do that
Yeah,
all the
we're
time.
just clicking right into
New guy. Nice guy, right? He's the greatest producer I've ever seen. Unbelievable.
But yeah, lots happened this
It's the
past
craziest
season. We didn't
week.
record last week, so
As you can see with our setup, we're doing whatever it takes because there's been too much good news. Like, not good news, just crazy news.
just too much
lately.
good shit.
Hey,
Yeah.
in my own defense, I put this together in like 20 minutes for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're much appreciated.
We literally, we texted him like an hour ago and look at this shit. We got something.
Yeah, we drove down the monsoon to get here. Car accident and all, but
So, all right, what should we start with? We got
So, I mean, we can start with the Eagles. Joe's fresh on the Eagles. He talks about the Eagles frequently, and they're a hot topic right now.
Now, Joe in the
Left-
past has called me Negadelphia for my very accurate and very grounded takes on this team that tortures us every week. So we got the W. Even though we're like, what are we, 10-2?
11-2.
11-2. We're 11-2, but yet we're still very negative on this because Jalen Hurts threw less yards than I would in the yearly the Thanksgiving game. So we don't know what's going on with the passing game.
Well, I have to, so we got a new producer here. We got Joe, but I want to ask, how are we feeling with, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, the drama's there right now. Do you think how serious, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious is this issue right now?
I want to think it's not serious, but A.J. Brown switched his Instagram profile picture to the Joker. So that could be like a Category 10 threat. A.J. Brown, go in and go postal either on Jalen or on opposing defenses like he normally does. So we're going against Pittsburgh. A.J. Brown obliterated Pittsburgh last time we played them.
Yeah.
Didn't
he
he
had
have
three
touchdowns?
3 tutties. And he had the one touchdown where he pointed.
Double covered.
Yeah, I think he was triple covered on the one. I think he pointed at
Oh, yeah,
all three guys
He's
around
like,
him. He was like, hold my dick.
so
He basically just told him to hold his dick.
So the Joker thing, I think it's just more like a message to the fans of like, why so serious? That's the message, not like I'm Jokerfying. I took it to mean why so serious.
I took it to mean, how did I get these scars? My father was a drinker.
So, do we feel a big bounce back week coming? Eagles last time I checked, they were 5-point favorites against Pittsburgh.
So I want to hope so because Carolina felt so super trap game-ish. I knew we were in trouble when that dickhead made the $3 million bet, and he was really pissing in the face of the football gods. We barely got away. We barely escaped. We were down in the game. We ended up with a W, so I'm hoping that was the kick in the ass they needed, like the Falcons game when they realized you fucking idiots choked that shit away. So I'm hoping we crush the Steelers, but they're a tough, really good team.
Right now, yeah. And Russell Wilson has our number historically.
Yeah.
I would
Have
actually,
we ever beat Russell Wilson, that little slippery fucker? He's always getting away. We always almost sack
I
him.
don't know if they have. I mean, like historically, the Eagles have played Seattle really poorly, and I don't think they ever beat him when he was with them.
The Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since like the 60s.
Yeah, no, I know
Russell
that. I
Wilson
know we
right
have.
now.
I know we own the Steelers.
Russell Wilson is 5-0 against the Eagles.
Yeah, yeah. So
Feels right.
there you go. Yeah. So I mean, different situation now. He's not in Seattle anymore, but they're playing good football, and the Eagles have a good defense. In our defense, no pun intended, but it's. I don't know how to feel about this game.
I'm hoping because Russell is about to go into a retirement home that he loses some elusiveness and slipperiness. Because I've seen when we play this motherfucker, and there's been so many almost sacks. We got a spy, we got him bottled up, we got him covered. There's coverage downfield, but somehow, some way, he has like an 11-second play, and then he hits the guy for like 50 yards. So don't want that. I generally have negative, terrified vibes with the Eagles, but we survived Carolina when it seemed like a classic trap game. So does that mean we just push the trap game off, or does that mean that
Well, first of all, sorry to interrupt you, but the guy who bet $3 million should get an autographed picture of Xavier Legette for dropping that ball at the end of the game.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Because, I mean, Carolina should have won the game. As shitty as it sounds, Carolina should have won the game.
There's 44 seconds left in that game when that happens, and there's a chance we come back at the end. But obviously, Legette dropping that ball is an easy.
But do you honestly think the Eagles take it down the field? And
felt just like the Super Bowl?
They could have. I mean, you don't put that past them. Forcing the Eagles to throw the ball seems to be the move, and now we're playing a Steelers defense that is ranked 4th against the run. So we're going to see what they're made of.
Yeah.
It's really crazy how different football is now versus like the early 2000s, where if you had like 2.5 minutes left back then, it's like the game's over. There's no way that they can march down the field. Now, like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes just need like 8 seconds, and then they can kill you.
Well, there were certain guys who were able to do it back then. You know, Joe Montana did it well.
I don't know. Just remind you
John Elway did it well.
Those early Brady Super Bowls. It's like they left all that time and they acted like they left them with no time. So like I think he's the guy that like started this. I mean, then again, I have horrible.
I feel like Joe. I feel like Johnny Unitas is the guy who kind of started the 2-minute drill.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was the guy in recent years, especially in his MVP season, was the guy that if there's 2 minutes left, there's a minute left, there's 50 seconds left.
There's 1 second left. He has won at least 8 games with like that last.
Mahomes is the guy now.
Mahomes, yeah, for sure.
Mahomes needs 30 seconds, and he's good.
This is why they're the team that scares me the most, and I think the Chiefs should still be number 1 in the power rankings. They look like total shit, but they just get in the playoffs. They still only lost 1 game, and when you're going against Mahomes, like our defense could have like a LT on it, and I still don't feel confident against Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about the Lions, the Chiefs are still the team to me that scares me more than anybody, because when you have to play against number 15, it's terrifying.
Playoff experience matters a lot.
Experience, yeah. I mean, every single year he's played, they're in the AFC Championship. There hasn't been a year where he hasn't made the AFC Championship at least.
Before he was drafted.
Well,
and after his retirement. So if we can play him like that, that would be good.
Is that all we need?
Before him was Brady, so
all we need is someone that Tanya Harding him. Just take him out, and then we have a chance. Who's their backup? Some nobody.
Yeah. Tanya Harding, she was the ice skater?
Yeah, and then she got like mad that was she the one that got injured, or was she the one that sent the hit? Where she was jealous of her teammate, so she sent some guy to like hit her in the leg with a stick so she couldn't compete. Classic.
It's crazy.
Whatever it takes to win.
It's crazy. I'm not opposed to it. It's like Bountygate.
Tanya Harding orchestrated an attack on her fellow figure skater Nancy Kerrigan.
See, I knew the villain. I didn't know the victim. So goes for the infamy. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the news. We've been posting funny clips about it, but there was this guy who was the CEO of a great company that helped millions of people, United Healthcare. Unfortunately, he denied one too many claims, and a guy named Luigi took him out. He hit him with a shell. It was a red shell. And it wasn't pretty. And
local guy went to UPenn.
My friend went there at the same time, and he didn't know him, but I'm telling him that this is when you start grifting and pretend like you had conversations.
And you guys were boys, and this
go to
was
the media.
A pre-planned thing.
You just say, hey, apparently he read Ted Kaczynski, great guy, went to Harvard educated, his manifesto, Industrial Society and its Future. Basically, it wasn't good, the Industrial Revolution, and there was a lot of pollution, things aren't great, society is anti-human. So instead of reforming it, Uncle Ted, he decided to take matters into his own hands and send bombs in the mail. So just for our friends at the FBI, they made a big deal that they're the greatest. They never found Ted Kaczynski. For the longest time, their profile was hilariously wrong. They thought he was an airline mechanic that was like 60 from Cincinnati. Couldn't be further from the truth. He was a Harvard-educated schizo who got MK Ultra brainwashed when he was 16. But anyway, he sent bombs in the mail, so he might have inspired this current guy. But so yeah, generally there's this idea in society. It's called murder is wrong. But then people are like, well, what about all the people that died from the no claims? Weren't they murdered? Fair enough. So
it's like a double-edged sword.
So they're going to be a real problem because like he definitely went directly up to the guy, premeditated, and shot him in the back. So typically that's enough.
Do you agree with that?
Typically that's enough for a murder conviction. And I think generally our society should be anti-shoot people in the back. But it'll be hard to impanel a jury of 12 that's never been fucked over by insurance. So I don't know if you guys ever dealt with insurance. Joe was telling me he had a very fun experience at United Health, and he might have been a suspect until the guy was caught. But they fucked him over. He ended up paying like what was it, $20,000?
It was a lot.
It was a lot. So there's millions of people out there that are clapping their hands instead of the only people that are upset are like journalists and the corporate media. Like, can you believe this? I'm like, yes, I can easily believe this. I can't believe it didn't happen 20 years ago. But so it's not good, and I saw this at Wawa, even though it was fucking $18. It should be $5. You know they made it for like 50 cents, but I just...
Your boy Luigi.
My boy Luigi.
Guy's name is Luigi.
Luigi. He's an Italian-American. You kind of look like him. Put the hood up.
He's in the Mangione crime family.
And then
You got to do a big smile though.
Further down and smile for the camera. We might have Luigi here. He's like, what do you mean Mario's tumor isn't covered? No.
How much of the sympathy do you think comes from this guy just being hot? Because like nobody gives a fuck about the Butler shooter. You know, fuck that guy.
Well,
Yeah.
it's two things. One, the guy definitely is hot.
He got lit up. He's dead.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, in terms of like public sympathy for these guys,
It's two.
big
It's two.
differences, right?
Big one definitely is that he is really hot.
And two, like the other, like people were going to be pissed off more because you were trying to kill the president of the United States. You were trying to kill Trump.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that is true where half the country loves Trump, half hates it. Everyone hates the healthcare guy. But my two that I was going to say, not only was he already extremely handsome, he actually succeeded in killing someone. And I don't know what it is. Ladies, if you're listening out there, what is it with you true crime podcasts? Why do you like the idea of being murdered? I don't know what the hell is going on. If you're like a loser that looks ugly, the women swerve. But if you're a loser that looks ugly and you've murdered 20 people, they're sending you letters and they're
Like Ted Bundy?
They're Xeroxing
Women
their
love Ted
titties,
Bundy.
sending it. They're marrying you in the prison. Ted Bundy got married during his murder trial because of some loophole in like Florida where you can marry in front of a judge.
Yeah.
So
Is that where he lived, Ted Bundy? Was he a Florida guy?
he was all over the place. He went to Temple. He was a TU strong.
To you?
Oh, here's my other Ted Bundy thing. Like, okay, yes, serial killer bad. He killed a lot of innocent people. That's not good. But if you look at it on balance, he did work at the suicide hotline for a time. And he was really good at his job. So then the question is, in the karmic universe,
What are like the requirements to be good at like working at the suicide hotline? Like you just talk people out of killing themselves?
yeah,
You think there's like
I
a
would
kill
think
death ratio? Like
you would think
kinda
Ted
like
Bundy
Call
would
of
be.
Duty?
You would think Ted Bundy would be like, do it. But apparently, he was really good at getting people not to kill themselves.
well, he probably wanted to kill them.
Yeah,
so he'd
he-
be like, "Don't do it, so I can do it."
Yeah, it's like he wanted the hunt. It's like preventing the.
Okay. By the way, so you're not going to kill yourself. Where do you live, by the way?
Well, where he lived, he's
You sound really
originally from-
attractive, sweetheart. Where do you live?
So I don't know how many women Ted Bundy killed. He was really good at it. But like, what if he saved more people than he killed at the suicide hotline? Does that get him into the pearly gates? Does it balance out?
Seems like a karma question.
It's a
Might
karma
be a
question.
Hindi
Would
question.
Buddha under the Bodhi tree be like, all right, you're all right, Ted. You can reincarnate as a higher being, or is he?
Does he strike you as Buddhist?
Well, we're talking about karma. I don't think Ted Bundy was, but according to the Buddhists, everyone was something in a past life. So they're like they think you're eventually going to be Buddhist to ever escape the samsara reincarnation trap. But yeah. So healthcare CEO. There's been a lot of memes about it. They're like, oh no, can you believe someone would do that? Yeah, it's like almost like denying the claim. So that's the problem. Like why everyone hates health insurance is because it's a scam. You pay every month the premium, then you have a high deductible. Then if you ever need it, they try and like get out of paying. So imagine all the frustration, all those people like your call is important to us. Like in the back of their head, they're thinking like, if only I could shoot the CEO in the head. Well, eventually one of them actually did it. So hopefully.
So do you think he should be innocent?
Well, he's definitely guilty. The question is, one, he's the teenage heartthrob of the century, so he might walk just on that. Two, everyone's like, yeah, the CEO had it coming. So
Did you see him get arrested the other day? He was like, or was it today where he was screaming stuff as
Yeah,
he was
he
going
was-
into prison?
he was saying something crazy about like you forced this to happen, yada yada yada. Very true, very true. Now there's some people saying that was a setup. His unibrow doesn't match the guy that they had on camera, so it could be a setup. I mean, we always know the CIA, FBI, they're always up to their tricks. But most likely, that is the guy that shot the guy. The question is, will they actually be able to convict him? Because all it takes is one juror. Nah, I don't think it was him. We already have hundreds of people doing the I'm Spartacus. Oh no, he was with me that day. We were playing Dungeons and Dragons. It couldn't have been him. So
Well, I just don't believe that it was a Wawa employee that like called him out.
no, McDonald's.
McDonald's, even
Yeah.
worse.
No,
McDonald's.
I can believe it.
No, I just really because I thought McDonald's people were
What's
lower
wild
on
is
the totem
apparently the McDonald's employee that turned him in, or that made the call, didn't get the reward that was out there for him because he told like his manager or something, and so they didn't pay him out. Like he just called the wrong person. Essentially, is
bullshit.
what it boiled down to.
That's bullshit.
Can you believe that the
What was the
insurance
reward?
company didn't pay what they promised? That's shocking. That's shocking. You just imagine you're making a McDouble and you're like, yeah, Anne Frank's up there, officer. So, see, where he should have hid was a Waffle House. They would have never turned him in. Everyone there is wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Well, no, I remember. It's funny you say that about the Waffle House because I stayed in the American Inn in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and the guy was fresh out of prison like 2 weeks before we got there. Looked like Post Malone, who was working in the Waffle House in the parking lot of our hotel. It was the worst hotel I've ever stayed at. I'm surprised I didn't get AIDS or any kind of infection.
It was at the Roach Motel.
It was complete shit. Horrible experience. American Inn, Tuscaloosa. Don't recommend it.
$60,000 was that reward.
$60,000, and that person who worked at McDonald's who could have, made more money than they probably make in the entire year, maybe 2 years.
Doesn't this company make $50 billion a year? Like, $60,000 is all they reward, and then they didn't even pay it.
Yeah, he was supposed to call the FBI or the New York Police Department and didn't do that. And that's why he's not getting the reward.
I heard another conspiracy theory, though, about that they actually had like some top secret NSA, ultra satellite. They could see your butthole from space, and that's how they got him. But to cover it up, they're like, "Oh, it was actually McDonald's." McDonald's in the news. Like Kamala apparently worked there, then Trump did, and now they're turning in the CEO killer. Is this all viral McDonald's marketing? Because all I can say is I'm loving it.
He was.
Please pay us.
He was
look at our studio. We need money, McDonald's.
It wasn't the camera. He was actually ordering a Big Mac.
But that's what I don't get. That's what it's starting to it stinks to high heaven. This guy was so cool, calm, and collected. He had the silencer. He looked like a professional hitman. Like, holy shit. Then he e-biked away.
Had the silencer.
He had the silencer. He went through the Central Park. He got on a bus. He got away, and then he's just chilling in McDonald's, like one state away. Why were you not in the woods? Why were you not in the woods?
Why were you not in Australia? Why didn't you have a plane?
No, what you have to do is go to Cuba because they have
all right, Cuba. Why didn't you leave the country? You could have went anywhere. You literally could have got a flight to Ireland and just became a shepherd in the field somewhere.
Because the thing is, other countries have extradition treaties, but Cuba, because they're not fans of us, because we only tried to kill Fidel Castro 487 different times, like Looney Tunes, with exploding cigars, all sorts of. I swear we tried to kill Fidel by painting a fake tunnel on a cliff, and then he would drive into it. But anyway. Us and Cuba aren't friends, so other criminals have
an anvil off a cliff.
Other criminals have killed people and then escaped to Cuba, and he could make an anti-capitalist podcast from Havana.
How great would that have been?
Can you imagine? He did the shit. He's talking shit every week. Yep, still alive,
I'm still here, right? You can't stop me. I am alive.
But they got him, and I mean, if he is some political prisoner, terrorist, he's doing it for a cause. You would think maybe did he want to get caught so he can have some big showy trial, and Mr. Smith goes to Washington, and I'm not guilty, they're guilty.
What are the chances he gets off?
All it takes is one jury to say, I don't think it was him, and then they have to get a mistrial. They'd have a mistrial at the bare minimum, and what are they going to keep trying him? So there might be some sort of plea deal, or I don't know how they're going to have to go to Papua New Guinea to find a jury that hasn't been fucked over by United Healthcare. So I don't know. Too many people want him to go free, but clearly it does set a bit of a bad precedent if we just start killing people on the street of New York City. But
if he gets off, it sets an insane other people are going to do that shit.
Yeah,
and granted, the internet is pretty much on his side in this.
Yeah,
what's happening? So
and black people were on OJ's side when he murdered 2 people. So
okay, yeah, I mean that's a good point. What I'm saying is you're going to see a lot of other CEOs get shot if he gets off.
You're going to see people they're going to shoot him even if you don't get off.
He's going to be this is the end of Rome. You know what I mean?
Kennedy might get killed. Robert Kennedy. Well, I feel like there's a chance. If anybody's going to get killed in Trump's cabinet, I feel like he's the guy.
Well, it's just.
Conspiracies follow him everywhere.
I mean, even if he doesn't get off, imagine you get a terminal diagnosis, and because United Health never covered the mammograms or some shit, people are just going to if you have 6 months to live, and you feel the health insurance industry fucked you over. There's a lot of people out there with a motive. I mean, there's more guns than people in this country, and it's there's a lot of CEOs walking around like it's nothing. So what are they going to retreat to bunkers and gated communities, and America will be more like Brazil? I don't know what's going on. So the taboo is broken against just shooting CEOs in the head. I hope this is a moment where we can all come together. I've never seen the country so united. Actually, you would think everyone.
Well, after 9/11, they were. That was the last time we were really united.
No,
what did that take? Only killing 3,000 people.
When 2011, everyone cheered when Bin Laden got killed?
Yeah.
The reaction to the CEO was the CEO's probably fucked over more Americans than Bin Laden.
That's what, if you look at the raw numbers, there's a really big chance that guy has indirectly killed more people than Bin Laden did on 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
It
when
was
you
a
look more into Bin
pre-existing.
Laden, you realize that he was just kind of an industry plant, and he wasn't even the guy.
Yeah,
you know?
CIA industry.
That's a
plant.
whole nother,
Well,
could be
another
rabbit hole we
industry
could go
plant
down.
with our friend.
Of
Luigi.
course, Luigi might be.
No, you didn't have prior authorization. It's a pre-existing condition. So long, Gebelza. Woo, woo, woo. And it's just he hit him with a red shell, and it's done. And now
He hit him
he's-
with a fucking blue shell. He didn't hit him with a red
Yeah.
shell.
yeah. If you
Yeah,
think
that was
about
a
it, with the
Tiki
class system, it kind of was a blue shell.
Went right to the top.
But yeah, like it's rough out there, folks. So keep your head on the swivel. And the other thing I just want to say about the whole hypocrisy of the situation is they really pull out the stops when it's like a real elite that got killed. Like if you're just some asshole and they stole you for your fucking wallet, they would never find that guy if he got away with it. But oh, it's someone important. Oh, the government actually tries to protect them. If you're just some dickhead, you get fucked over. You don't even get your colon cancer looked at. So there's a lot of pent-up rage over this, and there's a whole populist movement over this shit. So hopefully this puts our country in the right direction where we solve the big issues without resorting to vigilante justice. On the other hand, with my cynical take, it's much more likely we become like the Northern Ireland Troubles, and everyone just starts bombing each other, and that's the new normal. Not good, but it could be good. It could be good.
All right, we'll stop here.
Didn't expect you to bring up OJ.
All right, so a lot of talk has happened now about UFOs. So this has been the thing the last 2 weeks. It started in North Jersey, like the Bedminster area. People were seeing UFOs just flying all over the place. Apparently, they're the size of small SUVs. They're not planes, but people are seeing them. And now they're starting to make their way into South Jersey and the Philadelphia area.
They saw them in Mayfair, apparently. But you look down Frankfurt Avenue, and you see a bunch of pregnant teenagers wearing pajama pants walking to the pretzel factory, and you look up, and you see something from outer space. So I don't know which is more shocking. But anyway, no one knows what the hell's going on. My brother is much more into the UFOs than I am. If these are really from space, there's a lot of, I like conspiracies. This is when you go really schizo, where it's like they're actually fourth dimensional DMT beings. And when you saw, and
We're looking at a clip of
we're looking at a UFO.
It looks like
clip.
something out of Scooby-Doo.
It looks like fucking Saturn flying. What the fuck is... Oh, that's the triangle thing, the black triangle. For years, they've been saying there's this black triangle. It's got 3 lights on the corners and 1 in the middle, and it just floats there, and it makes no noise. And then it can just go faster than the speed of sound, the speed of light, like nothing. And it doesn't. It violates the laws of physics and inertia. If there's occupants, they should fucking be dead in there. So some weird novel physics might be going on. Or somehow China and our other countries have just completely lapped us because we're a joke now, and they're just laughing at us with their Temu drone, and our top quadrillion-dollar military-industrial complex got lazy and can't do shit about it. So we don't know, but
Well, I'll ask you this. I'll ask both of you guys this. Like, at what point is it like people are just fucking with people now? How serious do you think it is? Like, I feel like at first it could have been, but then like people like catch on to it and they just went, oh let's go fuck with these people. Let's fly our own drone.
well, because
around.
apparently it's like near airports and military bases, and the government's just like, So that leads me to believe a few different things. Like, one, it's ours. They know what it is. They're being very visible for some reason. Or 2, it really is aliens from space that are so much beyond us, and the government just knows there's nothing you can do. It's like throwing a rock at a tank, and they can just like fucking put their alien balls 1 inch from our face, and there's literally nothing we can do about it. And if they wanted to kill us all they could, and they just think we're funny when we hit each other with sticks and rocks and nuclear weapons, and they're just... We could be in the middle of like an intergalactic like reality show, and they just laugh. If we all love Jersey Shore, imagine like the 4th dimensional telepathic beings laughing at how idiotic we are.
Yeah. Well, you can only imagine how people from Philadelphia are going to react. They're gonna be trying to put like Eagles flags on it. It's gonna get very interesting.
I mean, if they do their first
Go Bears.
If they do their first landing here, let's just let these alien motherfuckers remind them what happened to Hitchbot. All right, you don't want to park here. Park in Jersey. Park in North Jersey. But yeah, can you imagine if we have...
Is Hitchbot the robot that was trying to go across the country and it got like beat up and like thrown on the side of the road?
One?
Remember Hitchbot? It was a hitchhiking robot, and people...
Yes.
And then it went all the way across Canada and the U.S., and within like 10 minutes of being in Philly, it got beat to death.
It got beat up and was like laid on the side of the road. It was like laid on like a park bench, just like torn apart.
But yeah, there's been a lot of schizo ramblings about UFOs for decades now. But imagine if there's disclosure, if we have first contact, and the first flying saucers land in Delco and that's our first intergalactic contact with another species. What would that be like?
What part of Delco? Like, is it
Not
Nice.
media.
This is what nobody talks about. There's nicer parts of Delco.
There
Like,
is,
they're
yeah,
not the
so it's
same.
not
as the other.
media.
I know you're not talking.
media.
You're not talking media. You're not talking Radnor. You're not talking Springfield. You're talking like
Kennett Square, is that in Delco? Is that the nice place?
Kennett Square. I don't think Kennett Square is Kennett Square in Delco.
I don't know.
Let's look it up.
Whatchamacallit Square is Newtown.
Newtown Square.
Newtown
Yeah. I knew
Square
some
is in
square.
Newtown Square, but no. Imagine it landing in like, let's say
Ridley
Ridley Park. Yo, dickhead. Yo, cuz, what the fuck is that?
Dude, you can't park your saucer.
It's
fucking
so
walk
debaucherous. Yeah, dickhead. It's got to be. That's a Cowboys fan, bro. It's got to be a Cowboys fan.
I said go birds to it. And it
Yeah,
fucking
cuz, get
flashes
everybody
lights
out
at
here,
it.
bro. It's flying around. Yo, it's back, bro. It's back. Jerk off doesn't know how to fly.
If it landed in Philly, the PPA would be on that shit in 2 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Get a fucking ticket.
We got to take it flying.
Imagine you boot the UFO.
They're going to
They're like,
find
fuck, we can't go.
They'd be like, what are we gonna
They
do?
pull out
There's a
the app.
fucking
What is
boot
this
on the
bullshit?
plane.
Yeah. No, you're going to just see some guy like come up like a hoverboard and be like, you can't park your fucking drone here, dickhead.
So
Fuck
yeah,
the
it's
PPA.
either aliens and they're so much more advanced than us and they're laughing at us, or our own military is doing this for some stupid reason.
Or it's some jerk off who just has a drone and wants to fuck with the American
Well,
public.
I think it was some jerk off that has a drone. Like they fucking arrest the FAA. They get up those guys. If you're a normal person and you do anything wrong ever, they're up your ass so quick that it makes me think it's not just some guy with a drone. It's some powerful guy. Who knows? Maybe it's this is where all those billions of the United Health Insurance went as they developed this program. And then if anyone puts in a claim, one of these drones comes and just eliminates you before they have to pay out. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, or China's just so much more advanced than us. And then, yeah. If you go on YouTube right now and type in, this sounds like a racist city, but it's a real name of a city. It's called Chongqing, but the Ching starts with a Q. It looks like a cyberpunk futuristic city. Meanwhile, if you go on YouTube and you type in Philadelphia, it auto-completes if you're signed out to Philadelphia Drug Street. And there's all sorts of Chinese people laughing at us that we're just debaucherous and we look like World War Z. Meanwhile, Chongqing, China, if you go on YouTube, it's futuristic. They got a train that goes through a building. They have neon lights, drone shows. It looks fucking high tech.
Chongqing being the name of a city in China would
Yeah,
be
it's
like
a-
Yo Cuz being the name of a city in fucking Delco. I feel like they're like
Give it
so
a fucking
correlated.
city, Ching Chong and Bing Bong.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So it sounds like a racist city that I made up, but it's like one of
It
their...
does exist. I'm looking at it right now on the computer. Yeah. And it would be like the same thing as like a city in Australia being like Shrimp Bobby. Chongqing.
Like there, that one. Look, there you go. Look, yeah. Look. Oh wait, that's a fucking advertisement.
That looks like Coco from the movie, the Disney
But
movie.
it looks like cyberpunk. It looks like Blade Runner 2070, whatever the fuck. Of course, we have ads. That's another thing with YouTube. What is with the ads?
The ads came up a lot harder since political season.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
well,
Yeah, look at this
Jesus
high
Christ,
tech.
I
Look at
was
this
so
high tech
over
shit.
it.
Look at this.
During political season, I was so tired of the ads. I didn't even give a fuck who you were voting for. Like, you had to be tired of it as well.
Yeah.
It was just nonstop. Well, like, I mean, the ads are just what commercials were. I mean, it's just everybody watches YouTube now. Like, TV is taking a back seat basically to the internet. So,
Yeah.
this is what you have now. These are your commercials. I fucking hate it, but this is what you have.
I was really just hoping, even though it made no financial sense whatsoever, that they would host like trillions of gigabytes worth of server space that costs a shitload of money for free forever. But I guess they finally got fed up paying for it. Now we have to pay for it. It's bullshit. But anyway, we're watching this Chongqing video. This was like a fishing village 20 years ago. Now it looks like a future city. We have been completely lapped. I'm trying to learn Mandarin. It's so hard. There's 5 tones. It's not
tonal
easy.
language.
But we're going to be driving their cabs. It's over.
They bought up most in New York too,
Yeah.
and a lot of property in the States.
Chongqing?
Well, Chinese.
Just Chinese.
I was going to say
bi-
Chinatown's
billionaires
going to
and
be
shit.
on the up and up.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not going to be, what is it? What the fuck do they call the restaurants? They have like 6 names for like their typical just Chinese restaurant.
It's
It's
always
like
like
Great
Dynasty.
Taste. Yeah, Dynasty, Great Taste, #1 restaurant.
The one you're at, number 1 China.
#1 Chinatown. Yeah, they have the same shit. Chinese Garden. They have
But yeah,
like
so-
5 generic fucking names.
anyway,
Crunchy noodles does fucking slap.
In closing, the UFOs could be from space, but we could have just fallen so far behind China. They could just be putting them there and laughing at us, just going, look at these idiots, and there's nothing we can do. So,
how long do you think it takes for somebody to like start advertising on these drones?
Well, I saw
Have like a Wawa ad.
I saw this one
UFOs.
thing.
We don't know what this is, but come get Hoagie Fest.
There was this technology apparently they developed like a laser projector, and apparently they said they could project onto the moon. And then people were saying, well, let's put advertisements. There was some YouTuber, I forget his name, but he had a viral clip, and it was so. He's like, if I look up at the moon, and I see an ad, I'm becoming a terrorist. And like I kind of second that. If you see Coca-Cola on the
Unless
moon,
it's Batman, I want no parts of it.
How do you argue with that?
That'd be fucking hilarious, though.
that'll be the
Like,
other thing.
what would be the first ad on the moon? It has to be like a cheese ad because I feel like that's been like Cheez-Its.
If the moon were made of spare ribs, would you eat it then?
Hi! See, I know what he's doing. You probably don't even know what he's doing. Do you know what he's doing? The Harry Carey thing from SNL?
No, I'm just so uncultured.
Harry
Classic
Carey here.
Will Ferrell.
But because eventually we're gonna make cities on the moon, and they're gonna be lit up at night. And there's so many NIMBYs that can't even handle like a windmill in their backyard. They're gonna be bitching and like writing letters to city council the second they see something on the moon permanently. They better put that shit on the other side. But anyway,
Well, when I first open my phone, I see 9/11, so
that's nice.
it's always interesting. Yeah, but
Is that your background? That's fucked up.
it is. That is my background. I like to remind myself of how good a day it was.
Never forget, brother. Never forget.
So Bill Belichick just accepted the head coaching job at UNC. Don't really know what to make of it. He's young and spry, 72.
We're on the Florida State. We're on the Florida State. I almost did an RFK. We're on the McDonald's.
Could you imagine a conversation between those two?
Jesus fucking Christ.
That'd be not good. But yeah, he takes the job after Mac Brown, who was 74. They move on to a guy who's 72. Interesting move. From what I hear, it is him setting up his son to be the next head coach. There's a lot of like rules that are going into him being the head coach. It's like, he dates a person who's basically just out of college, and
he's either gonna like completely obliterate college football in his first year and like make the playoffs, if not the championship, right away, or he's gonna struggle and then he's gonna like bury his legacy even worse, and then everyone's gonna say it was Brady that did everything. Belichick did not. They'll cheat. And,
I think there could be some success. For one, he's going into a conference that isn't great. He's going to the ACC. The ACC is historically not a great football conference.
Well,
but
he has longtime rivals like Stanford. That's a really the Atlantic Coast Conference is Stanford and
makes sense.
Cal.
It makes sense. Yeah. Well, I think San Diego State was in the Big East for a little bit too. So, they have to find a place to call.
But the
home.
other thing is, like, what if people always bitch and moaned about Belichick is that Belichick, the GM, sucks. He's drafting in, like, the 4th round some guy from Rutgers that's a white guy that's 5'2", doesn't even have a picture on the NFL draft tracker. So that was his weakness. But with unlimited NIL money, and he just, like, puts his, like, all his Super Bowl rings on the table, won't it be easy for him to get top-tier talent? And then when he has talent...
Top-tier white talent.
Yeah, this could be the whitest team in college football. This could bring the new Cooper DeJean to a Philly, but
But why is there 10 of your 11 guys on defense white? Well, it's
speaking of that, why was of course DeJean was getting roasted by another white boy, Adam Thielen.
Yeah, he got beat up a little bit.
9 catches, 100 yards.
Were they all
catches.
on Coop though?
Not all of them. A lot of them were though.
Okay.
He got like hurt bad with double moves, but anyway.
Listen, but Thielen's a veteran receiver. Like,
savvy vet.
He's
not surprising that it happened.
It's and he was a good route runner. That was always like his thing, and he's a solid receiver.
But it hurt my after so much hope in a white cornerback. It's like
there's still hope. There's still hope.
Imagine he shut down a lot better receivers. He
slammed Derrick Henry. That to me has been. He doesn't have to do anything for the rest of the year.
But it's just that the
he's
white
a fucking
corner
12-year-old. He tackled Derrick Henry. Come on, give him some credit.
The white corner though, it's like imagine you looked out your window and you just saw a dodo bird walking down the streets. Like weren't they extinct? Nah, they're back. It's like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
We could clone him.
Yeah.
We'll take his DNA and Christian McCaffrey's family, and we'll make an athlete that would make the 1932 Olympics happen.
We're gonna breed just the best white athletes of all time. You got Mia Hamm, Carly Lloyd. I would say Abby Wambach, but she's
with CRISPR, we've added the jump and dance gene into the white man. Now he's unstoppable.
Well, Reed Blankenship's got some moves. You see him dance.
Reed's a fucking tank too. Like he's big as shit.
He might be the best tackler on the defense. I know everybody was going Coop, but Reed's actually a phenomenal tackler.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like Belichick, he's just. I think they could do it. Like, everyone acts like college football is just impossible. Someone who's an idiot
I
like
think,
Deion Sanders is just like, he brings the hype, and
He's
then
got
they're good now.
He's got the clout. He's got the personality. He's got all these eyes on him. Kids are going to want to play for him. He's a legend in the NFL. Granted, a lot of that credit goes to Brady, and we can make that argument till we're blue in the face. But Belichick's going to bring in names regardless, especially names UNC hasn't seen before. I mean, they've been a good program, but not that good.
Yeah, no,
Not
they
with
have,
football.
no. But, I mean, the
I
last
love
time
these
they
basketball schools with horrible football programs like Kansas.
I'm sure Lawrence
Duke.
Taylor will come in and help him recruit. Lawrence Taylor's a UNC guy.
Good, yeah.
Tom Brady should be offensive
If
coordinator.
he doesn't already help UNC.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I think you could see some success early.
Yeah, with the 12-team
But-
playoff, I think. Like,
I don't think first year. I don't think
but
first
who-
year he
who
gets in.
there- But with the transfer,
He's not going to beat out Clemson. He's not going to beat out.
But
I mean,
now-
Florida State's going to bounce back next year and probably have a better
with
year.
the NIL and the transfer portal, a team can go from worst to first easily now. You can have a completely brand new team next year. So like they could be an SEC level. Do you just get enough guys that want to come? I don't see how.
Well, now with the 12 team, we got the college football playoff coming up. Penn State, is Penn State going to finally win a big game?
Doubt it.
The whiteout, a noon whiteout against SMU in Happy Valley. I think they win that game. I do think they win that game. I think it's going to be so electric and so loud. It's the biggest home game they've ever had.
I've never asked you. Are you a Penn State guy?
I'm not, but I root for them. They're a local team. I'm a big Jerry Sandusky
I'm a
fan,
big Penn
so-
State is not a Philly school guy.
Okay.
Me and Joe are T for Temple U,
Yeah.
University. So
yeah.
that's the high IQ that goes in the Temple's cheers and chants. But I'm not going to root against
sounds
Penn
flat.
State.
Fight for the cherry in the
I'm not going to root against Penn State, but like for real, James Franklin, any big game. I've never seen this guy win a single big game ever.
Well, the last game, the really big game that he won, he beat Michigan the one year in the whiteout. Like, that's the shitty thing, though, with Penn State. It's always been they don't get the whiteout game when they're supposed to get the whiteout game. It's like they have to play because Fox has the big noon game, so it's like.
And they're still having it
What's
at noon,
stopping
aren't
them
they?
from doing it every week?
I don't know. I said that. Like, why can't you bring that atmosphere week to week? But there's something about the whiteout at night. It's like it is electric, and it's their big game of the year. So, in my opinion, they should have Ohio State or Michigan every single whiteout.
They said that the home field advantage was even stronger in the '60s when they had the whiteout. They wore a pointy hat too, and the opposing teams really got afraid, and they wouldn't even come into the stadium.
I know, they
They
had
said,
torches and pitchforks.
Yeah, burning crosses
It was
the
really
tailgate.
intimidating.
They said it was really effective. None of the talented players wanted to play. It was only the 5'8" guys.
They said they had this burning T, but they couldn't get close enough to tell if it was a T or a cross. It was really frightening. But, I want to see Penn State win this game. I really do. I want to see Penn State make a run. They played Oregon extremely well.
Now I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Like if they get through this, I will cheer for Penn State. But I hate the college, the mainstream college football, the college football elites controlling our thing. I love how teams like SMU just have a lot of money. Are like, fuck this shit. They kick the door down into the ACC. Like, we don't even want money. We have more money than God. So it's called oil, and it's in Texas, and we have a lot of it.
Well, listen,
so they force their way into the playoff. Like,
Yeah.
you fuck these blue bloods.
Well, a lot of people said that Alabama should have got in, but they still put SMU in.
Fuck Alabama.
I know
Almost
you're
the
so
bad
anti.
SEC teams. They don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, but they also beat Georgia, and they smoked LSU on the road. And let's put the cards on the table. Alabama would smoke SMU 1-on-1. SMU wouldn't be able to match up, especially in the interior. That's the
SEC
difference.
shill. SEC shill.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm a Bama guy, but it is what it is.
Is that who should make the playoffs though? Who has a better team or who has a better season?
Well, I mean, you can make the argument that Bama had just as good a season because they had bigger wins, but
Attention, you college football, and especially you SEC.
I think with SMU losing 2 games, the Bama's 3 losses. I don't know. You can make the argument, but then again, you can make the argument for South Carolina. They're a 3-loss SEC team.
Yeah, South Carolina. If Alabama, even if SMU didn't get in, South Carolina should have been in.
Yeah,
above
I was on the
Alabama.
South Carolina wave. But looking at the bracket right now, Penn State actually has a very favorable path to get to the Final Four. You look at it, they're going to play SMU, and they're going to beat SMU. I'm going to call it right now. They're going to beat SMU at home. And then they play Boise State. And
Best player in the nation.
Yeah.
Heisman winner, most likely.
He's so good.
He's played against shit competition. He hasn't played against good competition. So you're going up against Penn State, Big Ten team, a lot better of a defense, and they're not going to be able to just run the ball with him all game. I mean, he'll probably have a solid game, but I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Penn State on offense because Penn State's got a pretty fucking good running back.
They definitely got a favorable
Singleton.
draw. They'll have to go through Georgia to get to the final, though. So that's not happening. Who didn't get a favorable draw is Oregon.
Maybe.
They got railed.
Rough.
I am excited to see Notre Dame, Georgia, if we get that. I think that's going to be a closer game than people think because Georgia's quarterback's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could. Well, and the other thing that for somehow never happens, this is the first time in like 30, 40 years we're going to have Notre Dame, Indiana, even though they're in the same state. So
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
that's pretty good. But I just have to say to you, Dan, and all you SEC shills out there, you're like the United Healthcare of college football. All right. This SEC, they're the better team. They're the better team. That's why we play the games. If NFL was set up like college football was all these years, we would have never saw Eli Manning beat Tom Brady with the undefeated season because they would have never had the chance. I'm sick of the SEC. They rig everything. They rig it, and whenever they lose, they say, well, it was a good team because they beat us. It's a circular logical reasoning. I hate it. I want a team like Temple, me and Joe's alma mater of suffering and pain that only had a few good years here and there. If we ever, somehow, some way manage to get a halfway decent 10-win season, I want a chance. Just like in the March Madness miracles, to get in there, and then you can upset. You could do an Appalachian State versus Michigan, and anything can happen. But the big wigs, the college football elite blue blood shills have rigged everything so that they don't even have to play these teams. I can't wait to see SEC teams freezing their nuts off in the North. And yeah, fuck the SEC. I hope they all lose. I was hoping it would be SMU versus Boise in the final, but looking at the bracket, it's physically impossible. But I don't know.
Imagine if we get like Boise, Arizona State final.
That'd be awesome.
Be the lowest viewed game in the history
no
of
one
college
will watch
football.
that shit.
I just this better be Oregon's year. They've never won the championship. If they're ever going to
They're
do it, they
undefeated.
better do it now, and we'll see.
I think they lose. I think they lose in their first game. Either one they play. I
That
think
would be so embarrassing.
I think I don't think they want to play Ohio State. They barely beat Ohio State. They beat them 33-32 at Oregon. I think on neutral field, Ohio State beats Oregon. I think Ohio State gets to the championship game, to be honest. They're going to play Texas. I think it's going to be an unbelievable game if Ohio State plays Texas. I think that could be one of the great games that you see.
I am hoping that Ohio State is mentally broken because of Michigan, and furthermore, their local.
See, but like I've thought that in the past, but Ohio State has struggled to beat Michigan, but they play the SEC so well. Like Ohio State is built to beat SEC teams. They're just not built to beat Michigan.
But just like that rich asshole that bet $3 million almost fucked over the Eagles, there's bad karma going on with Ohio State in their state legislature. This asshole just proposed a law saying that it's a 5th-degree felony for Michigan to plant the flag.
Anybody. Because Baker did it when he was at Oklahoma and Ohio State. They beat and he did it. You're not allowed to place your flag.
That is the
Somebody should just do it anyway and be like, fuck it.
That is the college football charm and soft version of Drake suing Kendrick Lamar because of a rap beef. It's just so pathetic. Just win. It's like the horns down thing. Fucking, I'm so happy Texas is in a conference that lets you do the horns down. Like, it's just stop being a little pussy about it.
You know, Jason Avant was the war hero for Michigan that night when all that happened.
Yeah.
He was the guy that so the flag gets pulled off of the pole by one of the opposing players, and then Jason Avant is the guy that he just happened to be a sideline reporter because
I love you,
he
Jason.
works for like Michigan radio or something.
Yeah.
And he recovers that flag and like tucks it on. He's getting pulled at by like 20-year-old beasts and like manages to hold on to it. He was talking about it.
He
after
always
the
had
fact.
great hands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most reliable hands in the NFL when
yeah.
he was there.
He was
He's
such a
a great
good.
route
He was
runner.
so slow, but he was so everything else he was great at.
Never dropped a third down pass in his life.
He was
Prayer
those
hands.
two when he.
Oh yeah, the prayer hands.
Yeah. What else are we talking about? I don't know if we covered enough of the Eagles, though. Like, Eagles, how do we feel? They play the Steelers. We talked about that. Right now, if the Eagles had to play the Detroit Lions, I'm going to ask both of you guys this. Do the Eagles beat the Detroit Lions?
I honestly think they
Right
do.
now, yeah, the Lions are hurt as hell. And they're
But
playing
even
all-
after what they did last Thursday night,
yeah,
how much of it would matter like, if we had to go to Detroit, do you think the Eagles beat them in Detroit? I don't. I don't. I think they are banged up, but I think Detroit is like everybody's in. There's no issues in the locker room. I think everybody's bought into Dan Campbell's like philosophy. And I think the
our
Eagles
defense
have
is that much better than theirs that's going to be the deciding factor.
but their
regardless of where the
offense,
game's
their offense, they fucking score though. That's the thing. and we're going to have to score with them.
We haven't given up.
Their
more
offense is better than ours.
Besides one garbage time touchdown against the Jags, we haven't given up 20 points since the bye week.
But we also haven't
Jags
seen an
almost-
offense like Detroit's.
I don't think that's entirely true.
I'm straight up drinking the haterade.
Which
Everyone's
offense would you say? Baltimore?
Pull up the schedule. Yeah, I mean, Baltimore's got a really good offense.
Listen, I'm just gonna drink the haterade on Dan Campbell. Everyone's like bought in this whole rah bullshit. He just like if John Fetterman was an NFL coach. That's just like what he reminds me of, and just the vibes are off.
The
John
Rams,
Fetterman
the
can't
Rams
even-
just dropped like 40 on the Bills, dude. Like that's a good offense, and we held them to 20.
Yeah,
just like how the
that's true.
Just
On the
like how
road.
the Seahawks like own our shit. Like we own the Rams. I don't remember the last time we lost to the Rams, no matter how good they are.
We just saw how good the Bengals offense was last night too, right? So held them to 17.
I think Detroit's offense is still better than both.
I mean, they're better for sure, but like you
Their
can
offensive line is
you can
really
rely
underrated too.
So, it's
We have a great
probably
offensive line.
even with ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just I think the differences between the defenses, you can rely on our offense, especially against their banged up defense, to score like
With Aiden
25.
Hutchinson going down, it's a big loss.
Yeah. I mean that's another. I mean Branch just got hurt in the last game too. They have a lot of guys in their secondary down. I think we can gash them. I think you can get like we're reliably scoring like 25 points a game on offense. If you can hold their offense to under that, I don't think that's a big
Start putting
ask.
some pressure on golf.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Kansas City? That's a little bit
They're
different.
the only ones that scare me. Everyone else is
Because
beatable.
just
Only in the
Mahomes.
playoffs, I'm afraid of
It's
them.
Mahomes. It's just I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's that good where he's got the Tom Brady effect where it's like you can have shit players around him, just average guys, but he's so good he can just beat you.
We have a better team,
We do, 100%.
that doesn't mean.
but that doesn't
shit.
mean you're gonna win.
That doesn't mean you're going to win. Because
I think we have the most talented roster in the league, and it just
Yeah.
I'm more afraid of I'm not afraid of the Lions or any of these other teams in the NFC. I'm afraid of the Chiefs, and I'm afraid of Jalen Hurts. When Jalen is good, I think we could beat anyone. When Jalen is off or is either a turnover machine or just like is afraid to sling it because he's afraid of the turnovers, that's when we're very beatable. And
I'm just afraid of Detroit and Detroit. That's the only place I'm comfortable. And the reason, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the reason why I'm afraid of Detroit and Detroit is because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts sometimes I could just see him like freezing in the big moments and like just making poor decisions. And like the noise is on top of them. I just would be scared to play Detroit in the playoffs, who are such a hungry team, who's never been to a Super Bowl. It's just like, I don't like that spot for the Eagles. If it's in Philly, which I have a feeling it's going to be in Philly. I know you're showing me the Tampa game.
They lost,
But
to
that's
Detroit.
Baker. But Baker's a special.
Baker beat us.
He beat
Baker
us.
Dude,
That's what I mean.
Dude, I love Baker. I can't believe they got rid of Baker and they brought in the fucking masseuse rapist, and then they suck ass now, and Baker's still killing it with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but if it's in Philly, I'm very comfortable.
Very high confidence if it's in Philly.
Detroit.
If it's in Detroit, I think it's a much closer game.
100%.
But I don't think we lose that game.
All right. I like it. No, listen, I like the confidence. I felt like that in previous years, and then we get in that game, and
It's just that when you look at Detroit's results recently compared to earlier in the season, they had blowouts earlier in the season, and injuries have piled up, and that's why these games are getting closer and closer.
how much do you trust Jared Goff in the playoffs?
Yeah,
And I forgot the other reason why we should always, in the back of our mind, be afraid in every game, and it's called Nick Sirianni.
yeah.
And that guy.
Well,
Yeah, well, that's
we could talk about Dan Campbell too. A lot of people like Dan Campbell, a lot of decisions he's made, but that Thursday night decision, I don't know if I agree with that one. Talk about that fourth down call.
He went
Decides
for
to
it in his
run
own
for
area.
it.
It was zone 22 or something like that.
Yeah, and could have lost the game because of it. Instead,
Well, he
instead
did the
they win.
same
But
shit
if
last
that
year.
doesn't
He
if
did the
that
same
doesn't work,
Did the same shit last year in the NFC Championship game, and he was highly questioned. I mean, Detroit should have been in the Super Bowl last year. San
NFL
Fran coming back.
NFL coaching has come a long way for going for it on fourth down in your own territory all the fucking time in the first quarter, from Andy Reid punting in the Super Bowl.
yeah.
I wanted to kill him through that screen. It's just like, I'm happy for it, but I'm pissed that he's doing all the success elsewhere, and like he just choked with us.
The Sirianni punt in the Super Bowl was a very obvious wrong decision.
And then I knew that it was going to be bad. Then that idiot that the Giants drafted and was horrible otherwise, just to like poke us in the eye. That's the
Yeah.
only revenge the Giants have had against us in 20 years. He got that punt return all the way back.
Was
And
the punt in the Super Bowl? Was that the Kadarius Toney when he took it all the way back to like the 2?
wasn't that when we should have went for it on fourth down? And
It was when we
punted?
we punted, and then Kansas City scored on the next play, went up, and then that was the end of it.
Because
Essentially.
Kadarius Toney had that return. That return broke their back.
I think that
in the
was
Super Bowl.
earlier in the game. I'll double check.
I thought
The
that
Kadarius
was,
Toney was in the end. That was like in the fourth quarter when he returned that punt. That was like a backbreaker.
that guy sucks so bad. Was it
Yeah.
like extra painful that he dabbed on us in the Super Bowl?
He took it all the way down to like the 5.
Oh my God. Hey, this is why I'll be forever grateful for 2017 Super Bowl champs behind us, because you never know when you'll ever make it again. You may never make you like. I mean, look at Detroit.
Look at them.
Detroit has quite like arguably the GOAT running back and arguably the GOAT wide receiver. Although most
And
people say
arguably the GOAT rapper.
I'm beginning to feel like. But anyway, it didn't apply to Eminem, but it applied to their 2 GOAT players. Detroit's so cursed it forced them to retire earlier than they otherwise would have. So there's some very bad aura, juju, magic going on in Motor City. So I don't know.
We'll see. Does Minnesota scare you guys at all?
No. Oh, don't you know that?
Sam Darnold, man. End of story.
He's looked a lot better this year. He's looking like a guy who should have been picked in the top 5.
You are the most disrespectful. We've clowned on them. Like, we own them for a billion years until they, like, obliterate us and, like, win the Super Bowl, which will never happen.
The funniest thing they ever did was
Wide left.
when they traded for Sam Bradford and gave us a 1st and 4th round pick. Their GM should have been fired after that.
Yeah, that was more embarrassing than the A.J. Brown trade, if you think about it. Sam
100%.
Bradford.
Well, like, the Titans, the Titans could have been having issues with A.J. Brown, kind of like him mouthing off like he does now. Because he doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. I hate that he goes to the media and like says this shit. But, it is what it is, and that's how he is. So they might have just been like, all right, well, we're going to just draft Treylon Burks.
Well, who was the best wide receiver that wasn't a psycho? Larry Fitzgerald. They're all kind of
Jerry
psychotic.
Rice.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice was like a
Yeah,
Megatron. Megatron wasn't a jerk off. He was a pretty.
I don't know. He just looked so good that he had to have been crazy. He had to have been crazier than T.O. I guess he was a normal guy. I never really followed his personality.
Well, Antonio Brown was normal.
The funniest Twitter of all time.
The greatest Twitter of all time. You ever see his Twitter?
The best Twitter.
It's
Easily the best Twitter account.
Yeah. Anytime there's just anything happening in the world, just go
to CTESPN.
Go to
That's
CT
where I get my
ESPN.
news.
Yes. During the debate, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's like Kamala's dressed like a pilgrim on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Nice. So one thing that Joe here just brought to my attention is that I never noticed, but if you put Jay-Z and Troy Aikman side by side, they kind of look alike.
They look exactly alike.
All right, they look exactly alike.
Aside from some pigmentation there, but it looks it's
yeah.
quite striking.
It's I don't know if they were related down their family trees, if there's some kind of relation there, but Troy Aikman does kind of look like Jay-Z a little bit. Now one
They might be slightly related.
they might be. I see what you did there. Now one has played in the NFL and now is a Hall of Fame, not only a Hall of Fame broadcaster but a Hall of Fame player, and the other one is a very successful music artist who apparently touches children.
Allegedly. And
Allegedly.
NDA. Well, I've said it before. Then we posted a clip. Like, stop with these celebrities. They're probably all molesters. They probably all are doing devil worship sacrifices. It's just not good. Even at the best, they're just like your run of the mill Deshaun Watson. And at worst, like they are cutting the blood and putting it into a chalice. And then when there's a full moon, they're under the redwood trees in Bohemian Grove. So it's not great. But the other side by side that I think Joe, you should pull up. It's family resemblance is Elon Musk and Pol Pot. That's my favorite. And then wait till you see this. So these are brothers.
It's actually kind of scary.
It's ridiculous.
So
Now, is he from Ching-Chong, China?
No, that's Chongqing.
Chongqing.
It was the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. It was famous for the killing fields. Apparently, if you go hiking there, you still go like step on pieces of skull and bones and shit. Pol Pot was an interesting dictator. Like he didn't like intellectuals and the experts, and I get where you're coming from, but like then he kind of decided to like make them work in the fields, which humble them. But then I kind of have to take issue. He just like executed everyone in the country that wore glasses. It's a bit much. Pol.
So, now Jay-Z's caught. Who's next? Because you have so many of these people. that are on these lists that they've said, like, and now that, you know, it feels like they're getting picked off one by one. And I feel like celebrity power has come down. Like, I feel like they were always on this great pedestal. Like, they were just above everybody and they were like untouchable. But now it seems like they're not untouchable anymore.
Because, yeah, Hollywood was always kind of evil and horrible, but they covered it up because they controlled the media. But now every asshole with a phone can, like, you know, something used to never leave the local news, but now you can put two and two together and see how, you know, horrible things are. And Diddy, there was a horrible, like there was like some Ellen tweet about Diddy that was...
Well, Ellen apparently is a piece of shit.
Well, as Tim Dillon said, the backstage of the Ellen show was apparently the Marquis de Sade was running. Then he pulled up a picture of the Abu Ghraib torture, and he's like, see that? That was an intern that was late for the Ellen show. But she posted something like, oh, I called Diddy like Mr. Cuddles. Don't ask me why. It was some horrific tweet like that. I'm like,
so do you think her show was like, they gave her like an option, like shut the show down or you're going to be exposed?
She still kept the show even after like all these horrible allegations came out. Like Ellen,
yeah, but it was like it was starting to come out like that she was, you know, it was all during COVID, like that she was like.
Wait, what does that say? Happy birthday, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, or as I call him, Cuddle McSnuggle Stuff. You don't want to know why. Why is that, Ellen? Why is that?
Why don't we want to know why?
Why don't we want to know? I want to know. America wants to know. Didn't you flee to England? Why is that?
Yeah.
You might want to do what I recommended the CEO shooter do and go to Cuba where there's no extradition.
I was going to say, England's got extradition over there.
Yeah. But, you know, from Ellen to...
I hope Taylor Swift gets caught up in all this, my nemesis.
I don't think she's going to get caught yet. I don't know. You know,
she has two
She
jets,
just ended her Eras tour, which actually highest grossing concert tour in the history of the world.
I hope she's in her pedophile era. That would make sense. That would...
So, but there's a lot. You have a whole list here, so let's see the name off the list, and I'll tell you if they're guilty or not.
I'm face blind. I can't tell who these people
Name
are.
them, and I'll tell you if they're guilty or not.
There's no names. They're just faces. I can't tell.
Well, faces. Hey, Joe will probably know them.
All right. I think it's Pharrell,
Guilty.
Megan Fox.
Guilty.
What's his name? Russell, the English guy.
Russell Brand.
Russell Brand.
Guilty.
Mariah.
100% guilty.
Paris Hilton.
I don't know.
Innocent. She has a dog in her purse. She couldn't have done it.
And this is actually like me absolutely knowing nothing.
Yeah.
And like,
No,
but
this is
I'm just gonna-
insider.
I'm just
Yeah,
going-
disclaimer, nobody on this podcast knows anything about that fucking list.
Yes, but
Yeah, I haven't been to a Diddy party in years, so I don't really know any of this.
Beyonce and Jay-Z, of course.
100% guilty. But like I've heard about them for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like if you read into it, like they've always been like the poster childs for the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I've always heard those two. It's like always been those
they're
two.
somehow everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah, and
You know?
the other couple that I always heard so much about that they're pieces of shit is John Legend and his wife Chrissy Teigen. Is that her name?
Teigen, yeah.
Yeah.
She fucking bullied a 15-year-old on Twitter. She's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Have you met a 15-year-old though?
I mean, when I was 15, sure.
I was a jerk off. I was a jerk off.
The 15-year-old might have.
It's true. Some of them do deserve bullying. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to this list. Leo. That feels like a layup.
Leo, yes,
DiCaprio,
100%. Yeah, I've heard he sucked some cocks to get to where he was.
Well, you
Probably-
know what? You know
probably
what?
sucking cocks on the bow of the
Maybe the right
Titanic.
decision.
That
Well,
was Titanic. He was
with
sucking
Leo,
cocks.
like I'm not going to say he's a pedophile, but we do know that there's an upper boundary on the age.
Very obvious
Yes.
upper boundary.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I will like, continue with the list. We'll come back to Leo.
Stern.
Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made the women ride the
Hey
simians
now.
and shit on his show. I love all these people that had
Robin,
the
I gotta
absolute
tell ya.
debaucherous shit, and then they like act like they didn't, and like they could just walk away from that. Like who's the late night guy that was the Man Show?
Oh,
Letterman.
No,
Adam Carolla. Is that what you're talking about?
no. It's either like Kimmel.
Kimmel?
I think it's Kimmel.
James Corbin.
And he did like all sorts of fucked up shit, like blackface and all this stuff that you get obliterated for today.
Stern did that. I mean, Stern did.
But my point is, it's
He was
like
saying the N word and all. It was actually pretty crazy.
But my point is, you can't go from that to like offended over microaggressions. Like we have the tape, we know who you are. Like society changes, but you didn't that quick. A tiger doesn't change its stripes.
Stern was good though in the 90s. Like
Oh,
before
yeah.
all this woke shit, like Stern
sure.
really was. And Stern, like I was the one person that always liked Stern's show before Sirius because it was like he pushed the limits of radio but never took it over where it was like he would have been turned off.
He was doing bullshit podcasting before people were bullshit podcasting.
Correct. Yes. And he just did it on air.
Yeah.
Who else on the list? I see
I think
Bieber,
we know about Usher.
Usher.
Yeah, that's why they call him Usher. He's a human trafficker. He
Yeah,
just-
Usher and kids in the wrong places.
Really?
J-Lo.
I know. Well, I know obviously with Justin Bieber,
Yeah. J-Lo.
J-Lo. Yeah, I mean J-Lo's a piece of shit. J-Lo. I see. I'm like the most anti J-Lo person ever because she would come out and like bash Trump and all this shit, but you never bashed Diddy when you knew he was literally molesting people.
Yeah.
Like get the fuck
What
out of here
about
with
the
your bullshit.
allegations against Trump? He is the real guilty one. I hope some weird kid with no social media background whatsoever shoots him in the ear and then dies, and we never know nothing about it ever again.
Who was a reported Republican.
But he donated $10 to the Democrat. What's going on with that? I love how there's not been a single press conference. The FBI, DOJ, no one. It's like I guess that's it. You know there was some Ukrainian sniper in the bushes while they killed the patsy.
Doesn't seem abnormal to me.
The slanted roof. But anyway, I mean, I always presumed that these guys were pedophiles, but to like find out for sure that they are, I'm like, all right, well, it's rough.
I mean, I wouldn't label all of these guys pedophiles or sex traffickers if you attended a party that doesn't quite.
Yeah,
make
no,
that,
it doesn't
but-
make you because you never know. I mean, some of these people probably went in and were probably like fucking.
Well, that's
I mean,
how
you
they
know
get
how
you.
Celebrities are anything that resembles clout, they're going to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Well, no, they get
And
you.
those
They get
parties,
you
yeah.
on they drug you, then they get you doing something, then they film it, then they blackmail you and say this is the agenda, and then you're kind of like already fucked, so you kind of just join in the debauchery, and maybe they punch your card if you entrap 5 more, you move up in the Illuminati. I don't know, but I'm a believer in the allegations, and
Telling me is it Diddy's running like a Nexium cult.
Well, like Doja Cat apparently is big time into it, and that was like what he just said. A lot of the people would be in the studio, and they would be like, "Oh, you want a drink?" or something like that, and they would literally like just drug them. And
There's
roofie them.
pictures of Diddy like with his arm around people with like literally a pill in his hand, like waiting to drop it in their drink. Wow.
Did Bill Cosby ever go to these, or was that he had his own sphere?
He's not on this list. Maybe he did.
Thank you, people, for inviting me to the party.
He's messing around with.
He
Rudy in the
literally would
background.
drag people out of the bar. I'll get her home. Don't worry.
But yeah, according to our watchers, our listeners, look into that. It's funny you said that Nexium cult because that shit goes as deep as it comes, and she's related to the Bronfman family, which owns Seagram's and is part of the Mega Group, which is with Les Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein, and they're donors to a very prominent country in the Middle East that we won't name in order.
What about
to
the Rothschild family?
Don't worry about them. Don't look into that. Don't look into them or the Schiffs or the Warburgs. So they print money and it's good. Okay, you have to work.
There's nothing wrong with them. They're good.
You have to
people.
work for really
good,
hard for a
upstanding
living.
citizens.
You have to work really hard for a living, and then you break your back, and then the government takes half your pay to give you roads without potholes, and then they don't give you roads without potholes. They just print the money out of thin air and then loan it to you at interest. But that's much more important for our society. Welders and people that shovel snow and dig ditches and doctors and nurses, they're basically giant pussies, and banks are what really makes the world go around. And we could not do without banks. Like we could not. This is like we're in a populist era, so if Trump really wants to get some like 60% majority, he could like shake shit up. Like, oh wow, this student loans, these woke colleges. I think we'll just take all the money from the endowments and forgive your loans. Like that shit would work pretty well. Like the landlords that have 10,000 units, well, now you only have 2,000. The rest I'm going to sell at cost. Like there's a lot of shit. Like it's very popular to just take shit from people that have it. Sometimes they deserve it. Other times they don't. And then just give it to other people. Everyone's like, wow, this guy's pretty, like Julius Caesar did it. So Trump, if you're listening, I know you're a big fan of the pod. Shake things up. I know you have your own donors and special interests too. So it probably won't happen. We can hold on to hope. But yeah, so these celebrities, no good. And then, in other news, famous schizophrenic libertarian online digital currency Bitcoin has reached its all-time high of $100,000 per coin.
Fucking wild.
I've been watching this out of the corner of my eye since 2011. I remember looking at it, laughing at it, thinking this stupid schizo internet money is inevitably going to collapse. It's not backed by anything. Say what you will about the dollar not being backed by anything, which is true, but it is backed by the U.S. military because if, they could fuck your shit up if you don't take the dollar, the petrodollar. At least there's something there. The Bitcoin, I'm like, that's ridiculous. And I keep laughing at it. And I remember laughing when it crashed from 1,200 all the way down to 350. I'm like, those idiots lost everything. Now it's worth $100,000. Everyone that threw caution to the wind, everyone that put all their money into the dumbest idea I ever thought, is now rich as fuck. So I regret to inform all you Bitcoin people, I am now going to put money into Bitcoin. So you better sell because it's going to collapse now. I've been looking at this. I could have been rich as fuck and never had to work again if I just put a small amount of Bitcoin in. Even in 2013, with Coinbase, if I signed up with my .edu username, I would have got $5 worth of Bitcoin. That would be worth a lot of money now, and I didn't even fucking do that shit. So I hate to tell you, but there's a black cloud that follows me. So now it's going to follow Bitcoin. It's going to collapse. So
Hopefully
you better get
follow
out.
the podcast.
We're immune.
The one thing I feel like that didn't work that everybody thought was, the NFTs. I feel like they really flopped.
Yeah, they fell off. I have a fun Bitcoin story. Back when I'm still a degenerate gambler. Back in the day when I had to use Bovada.
Like sports? Bovada.
Before we had legal sports betting
you got
in
fucking
Pennsylvania.
checks from like Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. From Algeria or some other bullshit
You literally be getting
country.
checks from like South America.
Yeah, I get calls from my bank about it. Like, what's this about? Anyway.
Yeah,
It's drugs.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, so they gave an option back in like, this had to be like, I don't know, 2012, 2013 of a withdrawal via Bitcoin. And I had made a decent chunk of change one time, took out about $2,000 and took a fucking headache to get that $2,000 in my bank account. But if I took it out in Bitcoin then, it would have been worth like $1 million today.
Nothing makes you want
Nothing's
to
worse
kill
than the
yourself
guy-
more when you think I could have been rich if I just did this one thing and then I never did it. And now
Nothing's worse than the guy who, I don't know if you could pull it up, the guy who bought the pizza with Bitcoin.
Yeah, but those stunts are like meant to drive the
Yeah,
cost up.
you
Like
can't play
being
that-
able to use it is like showing it has like a utility stuff.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can't play that Monday morning quarterback because
Well, no. Like, pull it up. Like, pull it up. The guy who accidentally bought a pizza with all his Bitcoin. I don't know how much he had at the time.
It was like 10,000 Bitcoin, but that's when Bitcoin was worth nothing. Because if he never have done that, Bitcoin would have never got that traction, and
Right.
it never would have went up in the first place. So it's like one of those things.
Yeah, but it's still, you look back on it and you want to fucking kill yourself.
Well, hopefully a guy that had Bitcoin that early kept some for himself and is doing well. If he has zero, then I would want to jump off a bridge. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
10,000 Bitcoin today is worth like what, 10 million or some shit like that.
no, more than that. Isn't
but
it?
assuming I don't jinx Bitcoin down to the ground, all the crypto tech bros are like whispering in Trump's ear right now, and they're talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So all the Bitcoin fanatics, like it may go even higher.
Billion.
My favorite dictator, Bukele of El Salvador,
I don't know what
buys like 10
189
Bitcoins
is,
per
but
day.
That's what it comes
So
up
one
as.
with 9 zeros, a billion.
$1 billion pizza. I hope it was good.
I hope that fucking Papa John's was good.
Imagine it was cold.
Who took it? That's what I want to know. Like, what pizza place was like, yeah, we take Bitcoin.
So, like, what if you want to refund it? Do you get your Bitcoin back? Like, hey, this is not the
Yeah,
pizza
he
I
should pull
ordered?
out the receipt now. Say I wasn't satisfied. Can you give me my 10,000
Yeah, it was
Bitcoin
only
back?
12 years ago. Can I get my Bitcoin?
It was Papa John's.
back? Was it?
Yeah.
Papa John's, solid pizza. And then the owner became a fucking racist.
Guy's
But like,
name,
other than that,
guy's name was Laszlo.
yeah, well, you name your kid Laszlo, you should probably get your own ass kicked. But that's a story for another day.
Papa John's is the best of the chain pizzerias. But if you're in Philly or like the Northeast in general, just like go to your local place. What do you go into Papa John's?
You think Papa John's better than Pizza Hut?
I mean, I haven't had Pizza Hut in so long, so maybe they change it so it's not shit. But
Philly has like too many good pizza places for you to like.
Yeah, if you're
go
going to a chain place in Philly, you're doing it wrong. I don't know
Yeah,
what
like
doing.
you're a
It's-
fucking.
Only if
Northeast,
you're-
Northeast pizza is like, I mean, I know everybody says New York, but like
Yeah.
New Yorkers go around. We got New York.
New York's really good.
Philly.
Philly's really good though for pizza
Yeah,
too.
yeah, for sure.
I feel like Philadelphia,
New Jersey.
Connecticut, New Jersey, yeah, Northern Jersey is really good too.
Isn't
Don't
Rhode
sleep on
Island?
Detroit style pizza. I kind of like it.
You like Detroit
Yeah,
style?
I have to go to Detroit
style
for
I
work
can get
every
behind
now and
it.
then.
I want to
Chicago,
try it.
Chicago's
This-
different. There's some spots in Chicago that are pretty good though.
Detroit's kind of more like the like it's between like Chicago and Sicilian,
Yes.
so it's like a happy medium between the two.
Yeah.
I actually like pizza with a thicker crust. All these like purists, like it must be paper thin. Like, all right, well, relax there.
There's just different styles. That's all.
So
I
yeah,
like them both.
I want to try the Detroit style. It looks good. It, like,
Have you
looks
tried
like-
Chicago style?
No, I'm not eating that fucking casserole. Get the fuck out of here.
It basically
it
is a
depends where you go
casserole.
though. No, there's some spots you got to go. Like, I went to Gino's East when I was out there, and you sign the wall and shit. Like Frank Sinatra's signatures on it. It's pretty cool. Like a lot of celebrities go in and sign it. But I want to try the place, Giordano's. Apparently Giordano's really good. Lou Molinati's they say is good too. But
I
I
went.
mean, the thing is, when you eat the Chicago style pizza, it's like you eat 2 pieces and you're fucking done. It's
Yeah.
it's a heavy meal.
I went to the chain restaurant, the one in I guess in Northeast Philly.
Uno?
years ago. Pizzeria Uno had a gift card. It was the most disgusting place I've like ever been. It was so nasty. So if Chicago style is even like close to
Uno's
Wow.
like if TGI Fridays decided that they
Yeah.
wanted to make pizza
Yeah,
in
it's like
addition to
it's
the
like
regular
Ruby
menu.
Tuesday and
Yeah,
TJ
it's not
Fridays
good.
had a kid.
Yeah.
Speaking of sad pizza news, for whatever stupid fucking reason, I went there in like second grade as a field trip, but second grade me thought it was genius, Carrabba's, and we got to make our own pizza. But I was just at Carrabba's with my friend like a year and a half ago. They don't have pizza anymore, so I like almost wanted to walk the fuck out. But everything else was like not open wherever the fuck we were in like the
I
suburbs.
think Carrabba's just like another Olive Garden.
Yeah, basically. But as a little kid making my own pizza, for some reason that was like a next level. I thought this was so cool. It made it was a core memory. It was very stupid.
Carrabba's fucking sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Fuck you, Carrabba's, unless you want to sponsor our podcast.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine a Carrabba's sponsorship? Tonight's episode sponsored by Carrabba's.
Unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks only at the Olive Garden. Oh, I have this rant in my head for years about fucking Olive Garden. Attention, Olive Garden, if you're listening. I saw this bullshit commercial that you put together saying that you send your chefs to your institute in Tuscany where they learn how to cook. I don't care if you do that. I don't care if you have a physical location. I don't care if I have 24/7 video footage of them getting on the plane, going to your institute, learning, and coming back. Even if you have an institute in Tuscany, you don't. There's no fucking way. There's no way that you would have any Italian that went into an Olive Garden would like do something worse to you than Luigi did. He would fucking execute you hate crime style. He would whack you. Well, just admit that you're Americanized slop. It's fine. The breadsticks, whatever. I like to torture the waiter and make him keep putting the cheese and then not even eat that. But fuck you at your Tuscan Institute. You're lying. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
Post Malone likes Olive Garden.
Post Malone looks like the exact kind of guy that would like Olive Garden.
As a full-blooded Italian with two parents from Italy, I stand by that stance. There's no fucking way their chefs are coming from Italy.
What's the best Italian spot in Philly?
My favorite spot's in the Northeast. It's called, funny enough, Tuscany's off of
off of the Boulevard. Yeah, that
small place.
I hate to be the fraud.
Have you been to Toscano?
No.
Okay.
I hate to do a fraud alert on you, but I talked to the owners one time. They're Albanian.
I know they are. My dad's so. We
Albanians kind of are bootleg Italians.
Here's the thing with Italian
just nobody likes.
The thing with Italian restaurants, especially in big cities, is like 9 out of 10 of them, the kitchen and the owners are not Italian. They just aren't.
Yeah.
They're somewhere close enough, bootleg Italian, essentially Albanian. This might be doxing myself a little bit here, but
Are you Albanian?
No, not strictly. My dad's so like the hometown where my dad's from in Italy. Everyone there is originally from like the Albanian area, but like it was like 600, 700 years before.
So they're good. They're good to claim.
They're Italian,
yes.
but the town is known for being from across the water, essentially.
Gotcha.
So my dad allows Albanian culture in the house, essentially.
Gotcha.
Well, Joe, you got to take a trip back up to the Northeast. It opened in 2020. I will shill for them for free. They don't even have to pay me. It's that good. Cafe Carmela.
Slaps.
It's so good.
Macaroni's pretty good too.
Macaroni's is also really good, but Cafe Carmela has got great pizza, great cheesesteaks. Like the cheesesteak's so good. I'm a ketchup fanatic. I've never put one drop of ketchup on it. It's that good. It's that next level.
Do you think Cafe Carmela is the best cheesesteak in the city?
I mean, I haven't been to all the ones that everyone's like jerking off online about. Like the Pats, the Genos are okay. You like that? I like. Well,
I don't. I mean, I like it because it's convenient. It's like the Delco girl that's a solid 6. She's she's not great looking, but she's always available, and that's what you get from Pats and Genos.
It's 2 a.m. and there's nothing else open.
Who else is gonna? Well,
I hate Steve's Prince of Steaks. Remember we were down the shore and the fucking jerk-offs like just refused to come to the window when you tried to order?
I was like fucking cursing the guy out.
And the guy in line keeps looking back at you. You're like ready to fight
I
him.
think I looked at him too and I said, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
But those two style, like that's the thing is what like the Chicago, the Detroit style, the New York style pizza, like everybody hates on one or the other. The Pats and Geno's style where it's like not chopped up, it's the full like slab of steak.
I like that more.
It's just two different styles. I like both. Like I like Steve's, I like Pat's. That's the style that they make. But like I also like the food truck style where they chop it up, and you can get that pretty much anywhere in the city.
Have you had Angelo's?
Yeah, Angelo's really good.
Angelo's
still got to go there. Everyone says it's so
yeah.
good.
I am a big Phil's guy. Phillips Steaks is like my favorite spot.
Oh yeah. I've had
Phillips is like my favorite. I like Oregon steaks too.
You know what's slept on is
Their
Rocco's.
chick cutlet sandwich.
The ones that are always. This is gonna like make it sound worse, but they're always attached to Home Depot. They do a combo cheesesteak where you can get hot Italian sausage added into the cheesesteak, and it's so fucking good, dude.
Interesting. It kind of sounds like Olive Garden, but go ahead.
Speaking of
No, they use real
Olive
shit.
Garden of cheesesteak places.
No,
Speaking
real
of
shit.
steak sandwiches that is not even really a cheesesteak but sort of is, and our temple love at the food wall, Richie's. I love to get the steak with the egg, cheese, hash brown, ketchup, and hot sauce.
Breakfast cheesesteak.
Yeah, that shit's so good.
Yeah. What wasn't a good cheesesteak at Temple University was Tony Luke's, who is like widely known as a big cheesesteak place.
Terrible.
But like when they put it at Temple, it was Aramark running the place. It wasn't like Tony Luke.
Well, I went there when it first opened. I thought it was good.
I went to the original Tony Luke's a couple years ago, and it sucked.
Have you been? Have you been to the original?
Gross.
I've never been the original. It was like dirty inside.
The original Tony Luke's, I got a sandwich.
Most Philly places are.
Yeah, it was
like
dingy,
for-
dirty. It was a shithole.
Like it was beyond
Philly.
Philly standards.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, listen, Tony Luke's I went to a couple years ago. Most overrated cheesesteak I've ever had. Fucking sucked. I got it. It was like soggy mess. It was gross, and it was fucking not good.
I have a-
John's roast pork, good spot too.
Yeah, John's is good.
I have a great Tony Luke's at Temple story because it just opened. I don't know, was it fresh? It was freshman year. My friend had the ultimate mega meal plan, and it was like unlimited swipes per meal period, and it was spring break, so they used no swipes, and it was right about to reset, so he had like 30 swipes versus so he went to Tony Luke's like right before they closed. He ordered 30 cheesesteaks. And he's just walking around. These people came to order like, what the fuck? She's like, I got you, fam. So he's giving out cheesesteaks to everyone, and he walked by, brought them back to the door, giving them to homeless people. It was a good day. Those are the things when you're a freshman that you think are very important.
Everyone's pissed that he's holding up the line and they're getting a free cheesesteak out of it.
It's like, what do you want? Do you want the whiz? You want?
It's like when people in the hood buy the ice cream for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like they get a wrap deal, get $50,000, and then go buy ice cream. I just saw this the other day. I don't know who the fuck
Oh, was it
but
on
the-
TikTok or
it was,
some
I think a
shit?
girl meatball or some shit.
I disavow
Fucking-
this prejudice statement. I have nothing to do with it.
Um,
I'll attack you. What this came to my head again. Fake Italian alert. This guy can't stand the smell of sharp provolone cheese, the
What?
greatest cheese of all time.
That is the greatest cheese
He's a
of all
hater.
time.
He's a hater.
Cheese isn't technically like it doesn't matter if it smells good. It matters if have you eaten it?
He's a hater. He's probably an Albanian.
You tried it?
what's that?
Sharp provolone.
Sharp Rev?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I don't like it. I
You
don't
just
like the way
don't
it
like
smells.
it.
I don't like the
So,
way it smells.
Are you talking about like the sliced version that you'll see on like a cheesesteak, or are you talking about like the wheel, like where you can get at like a deli? You know what I'm talking about, where like a charcuterie board will have it. Like which type of sharp prov are you talking about? Because the other type is like
We got.
I don't know. I don't
not
know.
the
I
same.
have to think about it.
because you get the. I'm a big obviously Italian deli guy. I'm a fucking grew up Italian. The wheel extra sharp provolone with like prosciutto, hot capicola, which is kind
On
of
paper,
cool
I
for-
should
for
like
those who
prosciutto. I've
watched.
given it so many tries, and I just
Sopranos.
don't like it.
Really.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That makes no sense to me. Prosciutto is the Cadillac of all charcuterie pieces. But yeah, that with any of the Italian lunch meats and like Italian bread is like I'll do that all day. That's like the pre-meal for every family holiday for me.
Okay. This reminds me of another funny story. I'm going to have to self-censor some of the funny parts in case my family watches it because I would roast
No,
them
just
harder.
say it and you cut it out later.
But they probably will never watch it. But basically, long story short, some of the best parts cut out. But basically, Christmas, finally had a job paying money. I wanted to get a fancy charcuterie board. But I had my mom like, look, there's no prosciutto on it. Can you go get some too? We'll make it even fancier. And my uncle and his girlfriend come. And then she does one of the most obnoxious moves I've ever seen. My mom's like, oh, we have the brie, we have this, we have that, we have prosciutto. She's like, there's no prosciutto on that plate. Like, what? It's right there. There's no prosciutto. There's prosciutto. There's no My mom wanted to kill her.
Yeah, believable. For fuck's sake.
But I still don't like it. I should like it.
I feel like you've only had like supermarket prosciutto. Have you been to
I've
like
gone to Italian delis and
where
shit.
have you gone? My place is Datillo's off of like Castor, I think it is.
My favorite hoagie place is Marinucci's. You ever go there? Mm-mm. It's on like St. Vincent. They also opened one on like Knights Road too.
Oh, okay.
You should definitely, if you're back up there, definitely go to Marin. It's like they give you like a 50-pound hoagie. Like you cannot eat it in like one thing. Like one hoagie is like two hoagies.
Yeah.
But of course, unless you tell them, and this pisses me off about all delis, is that like when they refuse to cut the sandwich in half unless you tell them, like why is that not the default? It just annoys me.
I don't know. Less of a mess.
More of a mess. And the other thing with delis is like you never really know where to stand. You're kind of just like, did you order? Oh no, I'm waiting for. It's just chaos in the deli.